Yo, what's good, people? It is war number 8 of the season, and we are up against Legion. So, I think literally just at the end of the last war video, I did say it's gonna start getting harder now that we're in Masters and we're obviously tier 1, we're really pushing it. And yeah, Legion are pretty well known Masters Alliance, regularly finishing the top end from what I've been told as well. And I do remember from my older seasons here as well, coming across them and always being like a tough test. So yeah, it's a tight one, and at the time of me joining, actually, my 4 fights, I believe. So sorry, my 5 fights are 5 of the last 6 fights. We also have the boss waiting for one link to come down from the mini boss. I'll be taking last. So we have 6 fights left in BG3, and at this point we haven't died. So we're in shout of finally getting a donut this season. We've come close, but haven't quite got it yet. So the pressure's on for me. I don't want to be the person who drops the donut basically by losing an attack bonus along the way. And it's not like 1 or 2 fights. It's 5 fights in one go. So yeah, pressure's definitely on. But not just for that. The war is really tight. At this point, I think we'd had 9 deaths in I think 135 fights or so, and they had 7 in about 115, 120 or something like that. But yeah, mentioning the scores because this is going to be quite the tense finish to this war. So the scores are going to be brought up a few times, and they're going to be quite exciting. I have to say, this has probably been the tightest war I've been in for a long time, and it really did get me excited. But we'll get to that. For now, let's focus on the fight. So we've got modok here. I've come in with Cap Infinity War. I had a spare Hox, so I was supposed to put 2 House of X pre-fights this war. One on a Nick Fury on Path 9B that I'm taking later, and one on a Spiderham mini-boss on 55. So I had a spare one here, basically, decided to throw it on. I'm also throwing one on the next fight, but I'm taking that one with White Mags himself, so I'll get it back. But this is strike count of Furies. As you can see, his Furies are ramping up quite heavy, and the reason for this is not because of bad management of my hits. I've managed them well, but there's power struggle here as well, which basically means when he gains a bar of power, I gain one, and when he throws his special, I lose my power as well. However, as you can see, because of the way modok works with his fluxes and things like that, ability accuracy reductions, I've not been getting the power. And that's something actually I didn't quite consider going into this fight, so there was a momentary panic, but as you can see, thankfully Cap Infinity War can get those perfect parries, and I was like, right, just switch from trying to manage strike counters to now just trying to get this fight down as quick as possible, which was just parry heavy. And yeah, hope to finish it before his furies got too high. I'll probably put it in the thumbnail, to be fair, but I think he got like 18 furies there. Yeah, it was a little bit stressful way to start the war, but we got the solo. It was pretty clean in the end. A bit of block damage that was annoying, obviously land your parries there, and then I wouldn't have had to worry about that, but that's fine. It'll cost a health potion or 2 later, but we'll take the solo, and we're into this next fight again. Strike count of Fury, so just really want to manage these hits. We go for I like to do heavy, then medium light, then kind of medium light again, or medium light even, just because, yeah, that's just the way I like to start the fight and balance. I like to do the light ending combos just because then you can go into block and you have a bit more control of trying to stop your opponent throwing specials if there's someone who you don't want to, which in my case, I don't want Korg throwing a special one. I did try to get Jules in of practicing the special one decks, but I don't think I ever fully get comfortable with it. Even when I nail it maybe like 10-20 times in a row, there's still a chance it catches me out. So the aim here is just really turtle up as much as possible after my combos and try and get into that special 2 eventually. We know this is going to be a bit of a slow one as well, because with House of X we used one pre-fight against modok. We've used another one here in this fight. Even though we're going to regain it, it's now not currently active, so I've only got 2 persistent charges, and that just reduces the chances of me gaining prowess throughout the fight, and therefore makes it a bit slower. But other than that, we're managing strike count of Fury perfectly fine. He's also got brute force. We've got class advantage, thankfully, so that reduces some of the chip damage we might take from that. But I don't know, so far I don't remember brute force being much of an issue. But yeah, what else has he got? He's also got power focus 1, of course, so that's why I've got to really be careful turtling up a lot, because yeah, after he reaches that first bar, his power rate's reduced, and it's a lot harder to try and avoid him using the special one. But he hasn't thrown it yet, and we're doing good. Only giving away 1 Fury here. I think at this point, went for the finish. Probably overdid it with the combo there. Should have let the special one off sooner, and it probably would have hit before his rock stacks came back. But regardless, we've got this one in the bag. We've just maybe added a few more seconds on. And yeah, nice comfy finish, 78% health or so. We'll take it. We don't have to use white mags for any more fights, so yeah, no issue with healing there. So fight number 3, we're now back on path 9B again. I just took this one last war, and I took this Ebony Moor last war. The second fight is Nick Fury this time, rather than I think it was a Havoc last time. So yeah, this time it is going to be both fights with Cap Infinity War. I'm pretty confident for this Moor. I did my duels to make sure I was able to heavy counter his heavy and his special one. And yeah, it was a pretty clean solo last war, so yeah, not too stressed about this one compared to last war, when it was actually probably my biggest worry fight, up there with the Mephisto. But yeah, this time round, the Nick Fury on the next node is more of a worry for me. But you know, we start off here, we get our blocks in, get our kinetic charges up. I've thrown on a combat regen as well, just to save some potions, because I feel like that Nick Fury fight, I'm going to take a bit more damage, and I know I'm going to have to heal after it, so yeah. Just as you see here, playing it smart. I've just realised as well, actually, I'm not going to have to heal after that Nick Fury fight. There's only one more fight, and it's not with Cap Infinity War. Taking me till now to realise that would have been nicer in the war, not to stress about it, but yeah. So far, so good. You're going to see some top tier quaking soon with Cap Infinity War. I think it's coming here, or there, maybe in a moment. Yeah, there we go. So he's got 2 bars of power. I've got a buff, and I've now pushed him to 2.5, almost 3 bars. And he's just not throwing that special 2. So I don't know. Inside my head, I'm screaming at him right now, like, dump it, you know, just throw that special 2. But I'm keeping composed in the fight, and that's something that's really encouraging for me, because I don't always manage to do that. I do sometimes panic, and you know, especially backed up against the wall, can mess up. But we kept our composure there. We know his heavy animation well enough that it's easy to get the dexes consistently, and eventually he does throw that special 2. So now as well, we're able to get our special 3 off, get a good chunk of damage. He chucks another special 2 into our block. Oh, just, you know, Cap Infinity War's glancing, it's just so nice, isn't it? Barely take any damage for that. And I believe all the damage taken so far is mostly block damage. I don't think we've taken any of the degen damage from him completing missions, because the nullify one, which is usually the banker for Ebony Moor, he hasn't been able to get so far. But yeah, there is a special 1 here, which is nice, because we were starting to get backed up. Like I say, got the heavy counters for these down. Just say that right as I miss one, but yeah, that was just a bit of a spacing one. And more backing off quite quickly as well. Yeah, like I mentioned last war as well, the timing usually just waiting for that boulder to explode, and then release your heavy afterwards. But yeah, here at this point we're pretty comfortable, so we're just trying to make sure we've got the kinetic charges up. We don't want to do anything silly at this point. Throw the fight, you know, just let him come to us, really, and take 1 more special 2 on the block, and I think I'll get 1 heavy in here and probably finish it. Probably could have just gone for a normal combo instead of waiting for the heavy there. He's on 3%. All lovely in hindsight, isn't it? But a nice clean solo. For the most part, did very well to stay stay composed in the corner there. And yeah, we get 3 out of 3 solos so far. So next up we have Nick Fury as our 4th fight, and this is the one I was most worried about. I think this war, naturally you got class disadvantage with Nick Fury. He's coming up against me as Cap Infinity War as an Avenger, so he's getting the charges twice as quick, which I suppose if you push him over and make him unblockable can help you to try and, I guess, knock him over his max charges and reset them. But at the same time, yeah, it's just one of those ones where, especially when he goes into his real Nick phase, if he gets unblockable, and I can't really just go for intercepts and combo freely, because I've got to manage my kinetic charges to keep shrugging off debuffs. he can hit hard. So even with the glancing from Cap Infinity War, it can be very easy if I get like a deep bleed on me or whatever. Yeah, so as you can see, many worries going into this one. But we've got the Wags pre-fight as well, just to get a little bit of extra attack, just to get these guaranteed parries in as well. Not have to worry too much about Limber. That might be in the mastery tree for this. The guys place this one. Another thing to worry about in this fight as well actually is the Nerves of Steel node, so kind of similar as when I was taking Havoc last war. I have to be aware of these going up and just take opportunities when I can to just hit into his block. So there's a fair few things to manage in this fight, and it is quite a tricky one, I'd say, but so far so good. You see there, just right now we're taking all the parries we can because we know as well second phase he's going to be stun immune, and that's where really I've obviously practiced heavy countering his heavy. I haven't been using them so far. Probably could have, just to get warmed up a bit, but you know, right now while I can stun him, may as well just keep it completely safe. And yeah, you see here I go for a special 2, which uses up my kinetic charges. I get 1 back because I've got a mutant on the team, but yeah, didn't quite get the big crit I was hoping for. But yeah, that's the only special 2 I'm going to throw this fight as well, because going into his second phase, obviously I want to be banking my special 3, but at this point I'm confident I can get back up to 3 bars before he goes into his real phase, which I'm pretty sure I do. So yeah, it's just keep that special 3 banked in that second phase just in case you get backed up really. But yeah, I think the main thing to accept with this fight as well is it is going to be a bit of a slog. It's going to be a bit of a slow one. But yeah, tactics wise, there's not really much else to say. I think I've covered most of the bases in terms of what to expect from this fight, so I will let you just enjoy the rest of it playing out, and I'll be back to commentate over my 5th and final one. Alright, so we've picked up our 4th solo after war. Nice and comfortable there. Like you say, 71% health, so not too much, not any real danger of that fight going south. Handled it pretty well. And we come in for our final fight of the war, so I'm going to be taking this spiderham. And yeah, I think this one changed assignments quite a bit as well before the war. I was originally assigned a mole man, then we remembered my mole man's on defense. Then I think Hercules was suggested, but then we realized I need a skill on my team for the Cap Infinity War shrugging ability for Path 9, Section 2. So then we went to Nick Fury, but then my good buddy Nah reminded me that, hey, why don't you just bring Shang Chi? And I was like, oh yeah, why don't I do that? So yeah, I'm sure Nick would have handled this fight perfectly fine as well. But I do love some Shang Chi action, so naturally bringing my boy Shang Chi here to close this one out. For myself this war, like I say again, now there's only 2 fights left for us in BG3, including this one, so I do want to keep the solo intact. It's not necessarily got off to the best start there, eating a heavy and then getting a bit backed up. I was like, yeah, don't, you know, Spider-Ham's one of those champs where once he gets you in the corner, he can keep you there. He's got these really janky animations that can be quite annoying to deal with. And then he sometimes loves to hold his specials, as we see here. But the main things for me is just cycle those stun and slow wushoos. I'm trying not to rely on parries here because obviously the hard knock life node is there. But yeah, we go for the cleanse just before the special 2 just to make sure there's no power stings on ourselves. But so far so good. The slow is just about to fall off, so I think at this point he's not throwing special. I just get my parry in, get the slow on him, and now the special 2's coming. There's a little bit of a glitch there, but yeah, we eat it on the block. It's quite a bit of block damage, but happy to take it at this point. We've got no other Shang Chi fights afterwards, and well, I didn't really have a choice, did I? Because you wouldn't throw the special 1. But we go into this now, get the cleanse, final special 2, and yeah, finish off that fight, get a nice deathless war from myself. Yeah, great stuff. So this was the score soon after. So like I said, they were on 7, then they'd taken up some fights and they dropped 2 more attack bonuses in that time. So suddenly we were like, okay, I was watching this, we're now level on death, so we know they're probably going to beat us on fight time, so we need 1 more. But yeah, so they continue to clean up. They're now up to 148 kills, 9 deaths still. They've got just 2 fights left, and those 2 fights are a Domino and a Thing on path 7B. Now they've got Falcon for Thing, so easy fight for there. They've got Nimrod for Domino, so it should be a clean enough fight, but it's an unduped Nimrod, and we're just hoping Domino can do us a favor and help us back this win.
Domino!
So unfortunately the war does end with them sweeping up. I mean, so do we, thankfully, but yeah, of course we don't get the 1 death from them that we needed to snatch the win. But regardless, we are now 6-2 for the season after 8 wars, and yeah, we are still on course to finish Masters if we can keep going. But yeah, that'll be it for this war, so enjoy this picture of a chocolate-filled donut to celebrate the BG3 donut. I'll see you in the next one.